The old house stood on a small hill. It had seen many years. Inside lived a family. There was a grandmother, a mother, and two sisters. Their lives were connected, but not always easy. The grandmother was called Rose. She was old and her hair was white. Her eyes were still bright. She remembered many things. She often sat by the window. She watched the world outside. Sometimes she smiled. Sometimes she sighed. The mother was named Lily. She was Rose's daughter. Lily worked hard. She looked after the house and her family. She worried a lot. Her brow was often furrowed. She wanted everyone to be happy. But it was not always possible. The older sister was Daisy. She was 20 years old. She was beautiful and strong-willed. She had dreams of leaving the small town. She wanted to see the world. She often clashed with her mother. They saw things differently. The younger sister was Iris. She was 16. She was quiet and thoughtful. She loved to read books. She often felt like she was in the middle. She saw both sides of arguments. She wished for peace in the house. Rose loved all her family. But she had a special bond with Iris. Iris would sit with her for hours. They would talk softly. Rose would tell stories of the past. Iris would listen with wide eyes. Lily loved her daughters. But she found Daisy difficult. Daisy seemed to reject her advice. Lily felt hurt. She wanted Daisy to have a good life. She worried Daisy was making mistakes. Daisy loved her family too. But she felt trapped. She wanted independence. She felt her mother did not understand her. She longed for freedom. She often felt misunderstood. Iris loved her mother and sister. She hated the tension in the house. She tried to make things better. She would offer a kind word to each of them. She hoped they could find common ground. One sunny afternoon, the family was in the garden. Rose was sitting on a bench. Lily was tending to the flowers. Daisy was sitting a little apart, listening to music. Iris was reading under a tree. The silence was broken by Lily. "Daisy," she said, her voice a little sharp, "when are you going to think about your future?" Daisy took off her headphones. Her expression was defiant. "I am thinking about it, Mom. Just not in the way you want." Lily sighed. "I only want what's best for you." "Maybe what's best for me is not what you think," Daisy retorted. Rose watched them, her eyes sad. Iris closed her book. The familiar argument had started again. "Girls," Rose said softly. Her voice was weak but firm. They both looked at her. "Come here." Daisy and Lily slowly walked towards the bench. Iris joined them. They all sat in silence for a moment. "You are family," Rose said, looking at each of them. "You have a bond that cannot be broken. But sometimes, bonds get tangled." She took Lily's hand. "Lily, you worry too much. Let Daisy find her own way. She is strong. She then took Daisy's hand. Daisy, your mother loves you. She only wants you to be happy. Try to understand her worries. Finally, she looked at Iris. Iris, my dear, you have a kind heart. Keep trying to bring peace. Lily and Daisy looked at each other. There was still tension in the air. But something had shifted. Rose's words had touched them. Days passed. Things did not change overnight. But there were small differences. Daisy started talking to her mother more. Lily tried to listen without judgment. Iris continued to be the gentle presence in the house. One evening, Daisy came to Lily. Mom, she said hesitantly, I've been thinking. Maybe you're right about some things. Lily looked surprised. Really, Daisy? Yes, Daisy said. Maybe I should think about a plan. But I still want to see the world someday. Lily smiled a little. Of course, you can. But maybe having a plan will help you get there. Iris watched them from the doorway. Her heart felt a little lighter. Rose smiled from her chair. She saw the small steps they were taking. She knew it would take time. But she had hope. The tangled threads of their relationships were slowly starting to loosen. They were learning to understand each other better. They were learning to accept their differences. They were learning that even when things were hard, family was important. The old house on the hill stood strong. Inside, the family continued to live their lives. There were still ups and downs. There were still disagreements. But there was also love. And slowly, the tangled relationships were becoming a little less tangled. They were learning to live together, not perfectly, but with more understanding and more love. The journey was long, but they were on it together.